Welcome to episode 7 of What's Upper Pinellas, and we are here with my good friend and colleague, Marianne Davis. How are you?
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Can you see me?
I can see you.
Okay.
I don't know if the rest of the world can see us, so
maybe that's not a bad thing.
hopefully somebody on Facebook will tell us whether or not they can see it. So
let's see.
We will do that. So I am live there, and when you check in, if you would hit 5x5, let us know you can hear us. If you can hear us, and if not, just say, "Hey, can hear you." So anyway, a little rainy today.
You know, it's a good day to stay home in bed, right? I'm just like really sad I had to go out.
Great day to be a duck, right?
Yeah. Or you know what I always say too, it's a good day for a home inspection. A little story, when I bought a house in Chicago, it hadn't rained for a long time. We did the inspection, everything looked good, and then all of a sudden it rained shortly after closing, and yeah, we found that roof leak. So
wow.
That's why I always like to
have
us there.
Yeah. Marianne's pointing at something. I can't see it because my eyes aren't that
I'm
good.
I'm pointing at the fact that I'm not with you on our show. That's okay.
No, it's not. Hey, let's do that. Let's do that. How about that? Does that help?
Oh, there I am. Okay. Hi, everyone.
Sorry, we just restarted the program. What?
Oh, there I am. Oh, now I gotta. All right.
Sorry, we just restarted.
There we go.
Gotta mute.
We gotta mute me. Okay.
So that will show us when we have questions and that kind of stuff. And so tell me about your real estate day.
My day today. Well, it started, it was a stormy day. It was a little bit slower. I actually went out. Is in Fox Chase. The seller's trying to get it a little off market. It's a good investment. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, and it could rent for $2,200 a month. That's what he's getting now. So we're looking at a purchase price of maybe $250 to $270. So if anybody is looking for a condo to rent out for an investment, let me know. That'll be coming up soon. But yeah, so I did that this morning, and then had our team meeting. And we're still out there talking a lot about the changes in the way that we do our business.
Okay? Well, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
How about you? What did you get done?
Let me ask you. Remind me where Fox Chase is. Is that on 19?
Fox Chase is, well, you can enter off of 19 or Belcher. It actually straddles Belcher Avenue, just south of Innisbrook.
Okay, just north of
Alderman.
Yep.
Just north of Alderman.
That's what I thought it was, but I didn't know for sure.
Yeah, it's really nice. I actually had a place in there once.
And those are condos or those are townhouses?
They're both. We happen to have a condo.
Okay.
It's a 2-story building, so you don't have to worry about the milestone issues, which is new legislation for any condos over 3 stories.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, I have a friend that's in, I guess, the townhouses then.
Mm-hmm.
That lived in there. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. So, yeah. And you were going to say before I would jump back into where Fox Chase was.
That was so 2 seconds ago. I have no
squirrel brain. Yeah. My real estate day has been kind of crazy one. Have a loan that is signed and waiting for funding, and during the walkthrough, they came across some what appears to be minor damage. Don't have the quotes back yet, and so we're working through getting with the title company and such to get what's called an escrow holdback. So we'll talk about that.
Big question. We get that all the time.
Yeah.
What happens when we're at the walkthrough if something's not right?
Mm-hmm.
What does it take? Can we talk about this now? Or
it's part of what we're talking about today. So what do you got to talk about?
I don't follow the rule.
What do you got to talk about today?
I'm talking about that. Well, I wanted to share the condo we have in Fox Chase. What's going on in the market? What is going on in the market? Everybody wants to know. And what I'd like to do is every week give the statistics for single family homes and condos, residential in Upper Pinellas, what the changes were. So in the last 7 days, we've had, am I out of order?
No. No. I thought we were just going to give them an overview of what we're doing today, but you can just jump right in.
Okay, so I would like to just clarify to Brian now, I skim things. I have people that read it thoroughly for me.
So we pay the attorneys for it.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Fine.
But I'm since I'm here, I'm gonna keep going forward.
Yeah, go ahead.
567 new properties on the market in the last 7 days. We've had 157 come back on the market, which is it's considerable. Cool. Yeah, there's a couple that keep that are bouncing back. We've had 474 closes, sales closed, and we've had 492 go under contract. So we have new pending sales. So it's not very unbalanced. It's still very balanced. Not huge numbers, but we're just kind of moving along. So It's not a bad.
So any thoughts on why that number of houses came back on the market?
That's a good question. There's a lot of theories on that. I don't have any specific data. Some of it is that people have not necessarily gotten proper information when going into a purchase. And for example, with interest rates changing, they may not be able to afford as much as they thought they could with like HOA fees, taxes, insurance. Like they don't do the due diligence prior to putting in their offer. Now, I know that we talk about this,
right.
We do it, we do a very thorough job for you, but not everybody does. So that's one of the things that can happen.
Well, it's a shame because you get start paying for home inspections, pest inspections, surveys, appraisals, and then get the numbers and go, ooh, that hurts.
Right.
I can't do that.
Right.
Or the bank goes, I'm sorry, you can't do that. And that's even worse. That's the worst. The worst thing is, even if you wanted to, they won't let you.
Right. Usually, may not happen before inspection when you find out those things that the numbers are not matching up like you want them to, but they should happen fairly soon in the process and not at the closing table. I don't know how long these properties were under contract before they came back on. Sometimes it's for things during inspection that they were not aware of. I had a great yesterday. I got a message from a buyer's agent on a listing we had. They had done their inspection that day, and the answer was everything looks great. We're going forward. Not a single thing. That's always a happy day.
Yeah. We had talked about, and it might have been the week that we were not heard. Miles are moving, but we weren't heard about the. There's a bunch. There's the inspection fallouts, and then there's the closing fallouts. But there's a block in the middle that in Jacksonville, Orlando, and Tampa had really jumped to kind of the highest in the country, last month. And so that basically is, because like you said, during inspections, one of the things that's done is the 4-point no win mitt. And that's when we can, finalize that insurance number. And so if people were, bidding low, hoping low, that number can blow up and cause your, clients to get jitters.
Right.
So
or not even jitters, but just a number that's just not
feasible.
Not feasible for them.
Yep.
During the pandemic, we did have we had so many competing offers that we had a lot of properties that came back on the market because people were just seeing something they liked better, putting offers on multiple houses. Thankfully, we don't have that situation anymore. Right. That I know of.
Right. So today I'm going to be talking about conventional investor loans, I'm going to be talking about the no response is not a response.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And check your dates on everything you sign. And then finally, just the title letter that we're kind of working through as part of this closing. But yeah, you had mentioned that you, I think we're like 1 week in on the new legislation for realtors and their buyers agreements.
Right.
How's that going?
Right. Well, the big thing is the media, which just is, my favorite subject, my favorite soapbox. The media is putting a lot of information out there, and it really is confusing people. There's a lot of forms, a lot more forms that, every lawsuit brings tons more paperwork. And so there are a lot of forms that are, that we have to fill out before you look at a home. You've got to sign an agreement. Before you go on a contract, we've got to sign agreements other than just the contract. So because it's very new, it's so early in the process that those contracts that have started at the beginning haven't really flushed out yet. My fear is that consumers, buyers, and sellers may not get a seasoned professional helping them and could run into, snags along the way.
Right. You mentioned lawsuit brings more paper. Early in my mortgage career, I closed with a little old lady, and closing packages are like 80, 90 pages nowadays. And she came to the closing with her original closing from the first house her and her husband built. And it was basically a little bit bigger than a 5x7 card, but everything that was on it, her payment, the mortgage information, terms, payments, all, everything. And then her signature and the seller's signature on one card, the front card, front face, not front and back.
Right.
Front, so
I've seen that.
That was back in the early days. But yeah, it's everything that we're doing, it just adds more paper, kill more trees. Yeah, kill more trees.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully that's the gist of it, and that the shakeout moves smoothly with the professionals that are keeping up with it and working through that. Yeah.
The big thing is that we have to just take our time and thoroughly review all paperwork, and then you'll have something to say about this. But review all the paperwork, go over it with all our clients, and answer any questions. And if you've got ideas, questions, opinions about it, we'd love to hear it. It's really just an accounting difference, as we said before. Buyers and sellers have always been able to negotiate commission. Everything is negotiable. Right. Everything's negotiable. Right. Always has been.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. So one of the things I was going to talk about today is with investor loans. It used to be that when you bought a duplex, two unit property, down payment would be 15% on those on a conventional loan, and 3 and 4 units were 25%. And recent change to the Fannie Mae program for multifamily homes, and residential is 1 through 4 homes. When you get 5 and above, that's commercial. But Fannie Mae just recently made a change that's going into effect, which allows you to put 5% down on 1 through 4 units. And as long as the caveat is that you're going to live in one of the units. And so, for say on a $500,000 house, 25% is $100,000, whereas 5% is $25,000.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a big change, $75,000 difference on that size home. You're not talking about, closing costs and all that other stuff. So that's a big deal.
Maybe I'll be moving again.
For conventional investment properties. Now, 5% down, you have mortgage insurance, and 5% down, you have potentially higher interest rates because of the risk of multifamily. But those are in monthly payments,
right,
versus down payment, that comes out of your pocket. So, yeah.
Can I throw a question out at you here?
Sure.
Mortgage insurance.
Yep.
How does that? How do you figure the amount? Like, can you?
Changes depending on the down payment. So 5%, 10%, 15% down is different. It's there's levels to it, and then same thing with credit score. So it's kind of like your auto insurance or your health insurance that has a bunch of questions that they ask, and you complete them, and it'll spit out a number. Is basically
Is there like an idea, a range of what it is? It's not like,
no, it's not like 3% of this and 5% of that. No, it really is. There's 32 questions that go into determining your interest rate, and then the mortgage insurance even digs in about 5 or 6, 7 questions more on that.
Okay.
So it's not just like with your interest rate; it's an address, and with zip code will kick out an email. Will kick out a interest rate, and then mortgage insurance. You literally have to put in the county, and so there's different questions, 5 or 6 more questions that we have to put in to secure the actual.
So is it like insurance?
Mm-hmm.
If homeowners insurance or car insurance is affected by the number of claims in the area, does the same thing happen with mortgage insurance?
So to my knowledge, it is yeah, because that's what they're doing. I'm trying to think through the answer I was going to give you, but yeah, and given the county and the city and the zip code, they're looking at the default rates in that area.
Right.
So higher default rates are going to be higher mortgage insurance than lower default rates.
Okay.
But it's primarily on the borrower. The borrower's credit score, low credit score is going to be higher, high credit score is going to be lower, and so it's kind of like your health, your wealth checkup for your life insurance policy.
Right.
If you're in good health, lower policy. You're bad health, it's higher policy.
Right.
Higher premium. So yeah, that's
very interesting.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah. I guess.
Well, it's interesting to me.
Insurance. Oh. but no, the point is good. And one of the things you can do is if that is a concern of yours, you can have your mortgage professional check the different down payments, because it's not exactly 5%. If you get a certain point, it could drop significantly and go, oh, well, that makes sense.
Right.
I'll put down that little bit extra money to get a lower payment.
Right.
So there is some flexibility in there, and then, if it's high, you could say, hey, what if I was in that county or this county or that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, that's that.
Mm-hmm.
So what else you got going on?
What else do I have going on? Well, you know what? I think that, let's see, what was I? I was going to be talking about things this weekend, but I'm going to wait on that.
Okay.
I don't have a lot of subjects for us today, so it's back to you, Brian.
So I got 2 more.
Yeah, I know.
So ran into a situation, because when you're buying and selling property, you have buyer's listing agent, buyer seller, hold up fingers, mortgage person, appraiser, title company, inspectors. You have 10, 15 people in the transaction that all have to communicate and all have to get on the same page. And so just ran into a situation where we were communicating, and closing date's the end of the month. For reasons, they moved it up a week to help everybody out. And when we sent out the initial closing disclosure, it had the proper date on it. And when it got the title company goes, well, that's not the right date. This is the date. But rather than saying, hey, red light, and check with somebody, she just went ahead and changed the date. And when it had papers signed,
the title company,
had papers signed over the weekend for a client that was leaving the country, not the city, not the town, the country, and not going to be available. And Monday morning we caught it and said, hey, no, here's the document we signed, and it has these dates on it. And, we're the ones that approve it. Everybody's waiting on us. We approved it. And those are the dates. And those are the dates it has to be to line everything up. And so the lesson I learned in, communicating with people is just because someone doesn't respond doesn't mean they approve it. If something's wrong and it doesn't line up, you got 2 documents with 2 different dates on it, and your closing is dependent on that, you probably should reach out to somebody maybe the person that authorized it or somebody that's working on that side of the transaction, say, hey, why are these dates different? And so, we fixed it because the only date they can use is the date that I approved, and it doesn't matter what you want to do; it matters what we approved. So, because you have different things going on both sides of it. So that was one of the things that I ran into this week. That was just something new. I hadn't run into it in 24 years of doing this.
And the lesson there is no response.
It does not mean approval.
Does not mean approval.
Yeah.
I want to say that on our team, Kimberly Thickett, she's our transaction manager. And my goodness, I thank the Lord for her because, again, I'm a skimmer. But she's on our team, and that's her job, is to make sure she gets written confirmation, because that's the other thing we say all the time. If it's not in writing, it doesn't happen. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So she's always getting written confirmation of that, and our dates.
Yeah.
Checking the dates.
Kimberly's awesome. I got to give her kudos. She is, she and I work together because I have to have certain things to her for your compliance, when I'm working with one of your clients. And she's very polite about, reaching out multiple times. Some people just get, I sent that to you 3 times. Why haven't you gotten back to me? Because it's not important to me at this point in the transaction. That's not what's important to me. But she's awesome. She's just so sweet,
Super
and so
sweet.
good at what she does, and diligent.
Mm-hmm.
She's just like a dog on a meat bone.
But nice.
Yeah, no, but
a sweet dog on a meat bone.
She's a sweet dog on a meat bone. She's not a dog. She is persistent, and she's very good at what she does. I enjoy her. Which takes me, dates to the M word, the magical M word here and I want to talk mortgages.
It's so funny. So you had that. You sent me a little thing of what we might be talking about, and I got to tell you, I'm not sure what we're referring to here.
The M word in real estate that you don't want in somebody's house. Mold.
Oh gosh, we don't say that. That's why. Okay.
Yeah. So part of this transaction that we're working on, they went through the final walkthrough, and there was the thing that brought their attention to it was around the vents of the air conditioner. It looked like there's moisture, and so we just had a hurricane come through. We've had rain for basically 3 straight weeks. Well, we had a lull of 3 days after the hurricane because the hurricane sucks all the moisture out of the air. But 3 days later, we went back right back to downpour. And so the house is 2 years old, right on the water, and has no furniture in it. Mm-hmm. So when they got in there, the air conditioner was cranked way down. There's nothing in the house to suck up any of that, cold air. Mm-hmm. And so the concern was, that the roof was possibly leaking. And so had a air conditioning guy and a roofer go out yesterday. Air conditioning guy says, yep, there's some stuff that you're supposed to do around the vents called booting, where the metal comes up against the drywall, and those two aren't the same expansion and physics and all that.
Well, the metal can get cold, and
different temperatures causes condensation and makes wet. and then when things get wet, any dirt that's flying through the air kind of sticks to whatever's wet, and it looks like that M word. And so roofer came out yesterday, and there's no leaks in the roof. They tested all the spots that they thought could have been wet, and no leaks. But in taking pictures of the roof, there's a shingle missing at the very top, right on the ridge, and then where the second story connects to the first story. So right there's 2 valleys, and on either side, there's where the water runs down. There's some curled up and pulled back shingles from that.
So I'm going to interrupt here. I'm going to ask a question. When was the home inspection?
I'm going to plead the 5th because I'm not part of that. So some people, when they hear that house is new or nearly new or within a couple of years, because roofs last 15 years, air
Sure.
conditioners last 10 years,
Sure.
that kind of stuff. So they go, all right, we're 2 years into it. We're not going to worry about that. And so,
Okay.
so neither here nor there.
Okay.
What's happened between the final inspection and the initial inspection period was a hurricane. So anything on the roof could happen during the hurricane.
Okay.
Yep.
Fair enough.
So I'm going to go with that. I'm
Okay.
sticking with that answer.
Okay. Okay. Well, that was going to be my next question.
Yeah.
That was going to be my next question. So
yeah, that's why we do finals.
that's right. We do a home inspection, and then which I had a similar thing happen. It's kind of funny. I'll tell you that story. But yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we're working on getting money held aside so that work can be done afterwards, so people can close on time, move in on time, and all that stuff. So part of that was, we put together an email, helped the realtor put together an email, used the verbiage right out of the VA guidelines and that kind of stuff, and gave it to the title company.
So this is another thing.
It's all up,
but it's a VA.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's a VA.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were well within guidelines for the anticipated repairs. We're kind of way over what we're asking for, just to be safe. We're holding a bigger amount of money than the little bit of repairs that we need. And the document comes over, and the very first sentence, the very first section air conditioning repair and mold.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So
See ya.
had to go. So do you, the buyer, the seller, the listing agent, the buyer's agent, have a mold
report,
test, and results in order to use that word? Because if you don't, then you can't use that word in any document, because that is not, you don't know that discoloration and that wet is that word. Mm-hmm. And I got an immediate email back. Thank you very much. Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. Because it opens a whole can of worms that just doesn't need to be opened if it's not that. And the repair that they're doing is they are cutting it out. So it's not like they're just going to, paint over it or, clean the spot and hope it doesn't come back. They're literally cutting it out. So, you just open too many cans of worms when you say things or use inappropriate verbiage in that situation, because it's that.
Well, also there's the case of saying too much, mm-hmm. sharing too much information in an addendum in the contract, information that's not necessary to accomplish what you need to accomplish, that then causes, because Brian will always say, I don't want to see anything about the inspection. I don't want to see any inspection.
4-point limit. 4-point limit.
I don't want to see any repair requests or anything like that, because then, you are, or the lender or other parties may have to get mm-hmm. further documentation and look into it when it's and that's another point is, saying the proper. I said earlier that I was fearful that a lot of buyers and sellers would be working with less seasoned professionals that aren't able to navigate a lot of these agreements and things like that. And that's a big thing I see a lot, is that too much is said, not enough is said for a repair agreement. But I do have questions about the holdback.
Right. So before we go there, it's the KISS method. Keep it simple, Sally.
That's right.
And put it in words like you're talking to a Sally or Sam. It can be Sam. Sam can be a girl too. Yeah. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. But it's put it out like you're talking to a 5-year-old, and then run it by everybody before you submit it to anybody. As far as that goes, because it does. The words you use do have effect on what's mm-hmm. going on. Mm-hmm. So escrow holdback is your question. What is your question?
Escrow holdback. So how much time does a lender need to prepare and get a authorization for a holdback?
Depends on the lender.
Okay.
Depends on where you're in the transaction, and depends on how fast the information comes together. So we have to have invoices for the 3 sections that we need. So originally they thought it was an air conditioning problem. So the air conditioning guy said, quoted amount, the seller's already paid it. So he said, that's the amount, that's what it's going to be. So we still got to turn the invoice in to show them the work, what the cause is. And then they thought it was a roof leak. So that was part 2, and verified the roof isn't leaking, but there are, 2-year-old roof, there are some changes from either the hurricane or the installation or whatever the case is, however you want to say that, that the buyer wants fixed because they don't want to deal with it, because it is going to be a problem. And so got to get invoice for that. We got a report that says it's not leaking, but he didn't give us an invoice. So we got to get the invoice from the roofer. And then you have, because it was wet and the drywall, they did put a moisture meter on it and determine it was wet. They're cutting that out. So now you need a third person, which is drywall and finishing, inside finishing guy, to get their invoice.
Do you have one of those? I need one.
We're looking for one also. So I'll let you know if I come up with. I think we have a friend that might have one.
Yes.
Yeah. So once we get those, we've already submitted the letter to get the letter reviewed to make sure that it's worded properly and it meets as within the VA guidelines. And then, yeah, that's it.
So unfortunately, a lot of the times that, I'm doing a final walkthrough right before the closing.
Mm-hmm.
And if something major comes up, it's going to delay the closing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, that's all it is. An opinion is to have a good GC in your back pocket as somebody that will come out and look at things at the last minute and say, this is this, and write it up on one invoice and give dollar amounts that he would do the work for. If he were to get the bid, that he would get, do the work for that amount, and maybe even a little bit higher, because they literally, make us collect 1.5 times whatever the bid amount is, just in case when they pull something apart, there's something behind that that's also damaged that needs repair, that there's money there to fix that. And then, it's on the buyer at that point. If they open it up and it's more than that amount, house already closed on, you agreed to that. So, it's one of those things, catch-22, you can work with it if you kind of have an idea of the things that are working behind that. But if you don't, then you extend your closing, extend your contract, get it fixed, and close afterwards.
Right. It is one of those challenging things.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like, how much is this worth?
Yeah.
Yeah. With the moving trucks outside and
Yep. A little stress.
Yes, it is.
So lock your loans longer than you anticipate.
That's another thing. Sure.
Try to close early in case something comes up. All of those things come into play.
But,
and don't have your mover show up on the same exact day unless you're doing a simultaneous close when you're selling your house.
Well, a lot of times, you know what? Unfortunately, there are a lot of scenarios, and we will try and
cover them.
We will try and get you through. Exactly.
So fun. So, what do you got going on this weekend?
Okay, so there's a couple of things. This weekend is the first, I believe it's the first annual Saturday evening from 5 to 9. It's the White Linen Night in Tarpon Springs. And this is, it says here that Tarpon Springs aims to capture the same spirited vibe and sense of community with its version of White Linen Nights. The event is entirely free, inviting everyone to enjoy an evening of local culture without any costs. This has been done in New Orleans and Houston for many, many years. And so this is Tarpon Springs' first annual. They're asking attendees to come enjoy downtown Tarpon Springs and wear white linen if you want, or just white clothing. And there's quite a few sponsors that are going to have the local businesses that are going to have discounts, musicians, surprises, just different little things to entice you. And they are Replay, Amusement Museum, Conworld's Emporium, Brighter Days Brewery, Five Branches Brewery, The Gilded Page, Court of Two Sisters, Coastal Soul, which is a little clothing store, Sunshine Supply Company, Sponge City Brewing, and Currents Restaurant. So those are a lot of fun things. So come on down to Tarpon Springs on Saturday night from 5 to 9.
And wear your white linens.
Wear your white.
If you don't have any tablecloth, curtains.
Oh, and I forgot one other Unrefined Brewery. Unrefined
Right.
Brewing is another one that's sponsoring it. So that should be a lot of fun.
Free, right? Free.
It's free to come and participate. Obviously, if you want to get a drink at one of those places or you want to eat something, it's not free, but
Right.
but you can go see those merchants and see what kind of specials they're having.
And that's Friday night.
Saturday night, 24th.
Sweet.
How about you?
I've got my 40th high school reunion, Countryside High School,
Mm-hmm.
and the entire event will be exclusively held in Dunedin.
Mm-hmm.
Go figure that. I guess if you're in charge and you live in Dunedin now, I guess you get to determine where. So Friday night is at Marker 8, overlooking the water.
That's such a fun place.
Yeah, it is a great big deck, right on the water.
Do they? You know what? I've been there a couple of times, and they had sunset shots where they gave shots to everybody at sunset.
Yeah.
The big drinker that I am really enjoyed that.
That's so fun.
But it's kind of cool.
So we're there 6 o'clock ish through 10 when they close, and sunset is about 8. I told everybody expect me at 8:15 because yesterday it was 95 degrees yesterday at 5:30, 6 o'clock. So I'm like, it's crazy. But yeah, and then Saturday night is at House of Beer in Dunedin. And that's from 7 until whenever they close. I don't know when that is, but I won't be there. I won't be there that late. But so that's got some people coming in and catching up with. And then this weekend kicks off the first weekend of
something that does not matter to me
kickoff
at all.
Starts has a kickoff.
Yeah, I think I'm missing this one. No, I know it's a big thing around here.
Yeah, college football. Yeah, so college football starts is introductory weekend. There's just 4 teams playing. Florida State's playing Georgia Tech. Florida State is favored by 10.5 points. We're going with Georgia Tech though.
Oh, okay.
They're not going to win, but Montana State is playing New Mexico, and Montana State is favored. They're going to beat New Mexico. SMU, that's Southern Methodist out of Texas. They have 25 point spread over Nevada. They'll beat Nevada that way. And then Delaware State is going to lose to Hawaii, where my oldest was born. So, yeah.
Does this mean that we'll be talking sports every week now too?
No, it's just the kickoff.
Okay.
I'll save my sports for Friday afternoons.
Okay.
But I've got some people that are Florida State fans, and I just have to get my digs in.
I get it.
So my Gators start next week, so we will talk about them next week.
Okay.
Gators play. So anyway, but and then things to look forward to. You can put this on your calendar. Tuesday, September 5th is our next investor meeting at Urban Grounds.
Mm-hmm.
Right there on Tarpon Avenue, and good coffee, good people, and a great place to meet up. And
that's such a good place. I do like it. It's very. If you haven't been there, do stop by and come by on Tuesday.
Yeah, it's worth the trip just for the atmosphere and ambiance. It's just a really cool place. And then there's some cool people that are there at the investor meeting.
And you know what? I could have talked about this earlier, but I like to break the rules. Cohatch is a co-working space that's opening up in September in downtown Tarpon. So if you're looking for office space, reach out to us. We know some people that can get you 30% off. I think it's
We know some people.
Yeah, we know some people. They got some deals going on. So, and it's a great space.
Yep. So you can rent drop in all the way up to like a 7-person, 5-person. I think it's 5-person is the biggest office space that I was showing the other day. So I did a little tour there.
Oh, you did the tour. Yeah, I had to. I had to run out.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, it was good. It's cool. And then September 1st, we did move this back. Is the kickoff of our 30-day social media challenge, and I am going to try to get up here.
woohoo! I am ready for the challenge.
Are you? Well, that's good.
Because I'm always so well prepared. So yeah, no, I'm looking forward to this because it's something that I don't really participate much in, social media. I kind of shied away from it, so I'm looking forward to learning, applying, and teaching.
Yeah, there you go. She's on it. She's on it. She's got the flyer up. And but yeah, basically what we're doing is you guys have seen me over the last year and a half do 6, 8 different 30-day video challenges. And what I'm doing is basically taking that information and putting it on a foundation of a guy that is moving the social media, putting the social media back in social media. And it's not about like just throwing up ads all the time and that, and then just showing the way we come up with ideas to do the videos that we do and how we get them up and that, but just teaching you. So it'll be a short little prompt in the morning. We'll put out a video for the group in the morning, and you'll have till 5 o'clock to do that, and then go through and see how those go, get some feedback from people in the group, and then we'll do that for 30 days. And by the end of 30 days, you love it or leave it. That's you love it or list it. You love it or list it. But it should be what it really does is the thing that just kind of went off of my head is people will never forget who you are or what you do. They'll just forget you exist. And so if you're not top of mind when something comes up that they need or friends need, they don't know who to refer. So they go, I don't know anybody. And they really do. They know you. And so there are so many good people in whatever you do for a living that you should stand out above those that are not so good at it. And by not being out in front of them, you're giving those not so good people a chance to steal your people, your tribe, and not treat them well. Mm-hmm. So that's the gist of just being social and being in front of people, and we're teaching people how to do that. And so this little QR code right here, if you want to take a picture of that, we'll leave that up as we kind of close out, but that's where you go to sign up. And we will.
Can we put the flyer on your Facebook page?
Can put the flyer on my Facebook page. I will do that for sure. And love to have you. And the first 10 people that sign up, I will give a copy of my favorite book. This is based on. I'm going to try and reach back here and get it without pulling down my entire. Give you a copy of the book that I'm basing the social media off of, and kind of the mindset. It's basically a book on mindset, on the mindset for bringing social back to social media. So yeah,
sounds good.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to it.
So anything else you got before we go?
I just want to give a little plug for Tarpon Springs Bistro. I'm going there tonight. A bunch of girls are getting together, and we're going for dinner. I'm going to have the pesto penne, which is one of my favorite dishes. It's a really great little restaurant downtown Tarpon Springs, and that's it. So if you're out and about, stop in, say hi.
Where is that located?
That is on Safford, right next to. It's on the corner. It's just past the corner of Tarpon Avenue and Safford Avenue. Right next to Tarpon Tavern.
Okay.
Right next to, just north of Tarpon Avenue on Safford.
Cool. Well, enjoy that.
Yes.
Enjoy that. And thank you for being a part of this. We appreciate you. And if there's questions that you have, comments that you want to make, feel free to make those, and we will get those addressed for you. And thanks for being a part of it.
Have a great week.